Hello, everyone. When Mother Nature gets angry, nothing can stop her destructive power. From fierce storms, violent flash floods, to devastating earthquakes, every moment brings unimaginable surprise and danger. What can humanity do to survive the unpredictable natural disasters? Let's follow the most terrifying outbursts of Mother Nature and witness the unimaginable destructive power. Torturador Beach suddenly turned into a nightmare as dark clouds rolled in, strong winds howled, and huge waves surged. Tourists panicked and fled as seawater flooded in, sweeping away lounge chairs and umbrellas. The thunder rumbled loudly and sand flew in all directions, creating chaos. In just moments, the beach became desolate, reminding everyone that when Mother Nature is angry, no one can resist. The heavy rain that lasted for hours caused the soil and rocks on the slopes of Kabin village, Tan Phuong commune, Luc Yen, Yenbai to soften and lose cohesion. Suddenly, a massive block of earth came crashing down, carrying trees and boulders, sliding straight into a house at the foot of the mountain. In an instant, the entire house was buried beneath a thick layer of earth and debris. At the river in Zhejiang, tourists eagerly stood along the riverbank to witness the tidal phenomenon. Suddenly, a huge wave surged and splashed violently onto the shore, soaking everyone. Laughter quickly turned into screams as water splashed everywhere. The scorching heat and strong winds turned the forest in Portugal into a massive torch. The flames erupted violently, spreading rapidly through the dry woods, burning trees and threatening nearby residential areas. Thick black smoke billowed high, and the sky turned red in the sea of flames. Firefighters worked tirelessly to extinguish the blaze, but nature's fury was not easily subdued. When the fire was finally controlled, only ashes and barren forests remained, reminding humanity of its fragility before the power of Mother Nature. As Hurricane Irma swept through Georgia, strong winds and heavy rain turned many roads into chaos. Just as April Baxter was driving, a massive tree suddenly fell across the road, landing right in front of her car and causing the rear end to lift off the ground. Everything happened so quickly. The airbags deployed, and she could only slam the brakes in panic. Though she was unharmed, the shock of that moment is something she will never forget. The massive flood in Pakistan struck with destructive force, sweeping away everything in its path. The rushing waters slammed into a giant wall, causing it to collapse immediately with a terrifying cracking sound. Witnessing this, the people panicked and fled, desperately seeking shelter from the brutal destruction of the flood. After days of continuous heavy rain, the soil and rock layers on the mountainside at El Boquerón, in the municipality of Policarpa, gradually weakened. Suddenly, a huge section of the mountain came crashing down, with clouds of dust billowing into the sky and turning the entire area white. Nearby residents could only stand in shock and disbelief as the horrifying scene unfolded. The road was completely buried, leaving a deep scar across the lush green mountains. At Jackson Falls, New Hampshire, a sudden flood turned the peaceful scene into a raging waterfall. The water surged, flowing violently and sweeping away trees and boulders, creating a terrifying sight. Tourists standing near the falls rushed to escape as the ferocious waves flooded the path. In just moments, the area was consumed by the destructive power of nature, reminding everyone that even a single flood can change everything. After many days of continuous heavy rain, the soil and rocks on the mountainsides in Afghanistan became saturated and lost their structure. Suddenly, an entire section of the mountain collapsed, sending a massive surge of mud and debris roaring down. While a JCB was relocating a village on a rocky mountain in Dolaka, small stones began to fall from Muggling Road. Despite the lurking danger, many people curiously watched, unaware of the potential risks. A single moment of carelessness could lead to unimaginable consequences. A horrific landslide occurred at the Bisunzu mine, Rubaya area, North Kivu, Democratic Republic of Congo, burying more than 100 illegal miners under the rubble. The earth and rocks fell with tremendous force, leaving them no time to escape. Rescue teams worked hard to search for survivors, but hope grew ever slimmer. A heartbreaking tragedy, reminding us of the terrible risks of working in hazardous environments without proper safety measures. A terrifying storm swept through, destroying everything in its path. The wind howled fiercely, roofs were blown off, trees uprooted, and many belongings were destroyed in an instant. People panicked and sought shelter, while nature's fury showed no mercy. When the storm subsided, only devastation remained, a harsh reminder of the destructive power of Mother Nature. Nature can be forgiving, but when humans exploit it excessively, Mother Nature will rage. A horrifying landslide occurred at a construction site, causing workers to panic and flee for their lives. The machinery continued to roar, but from afar, dust rose like a sign of impending disaster. In the blink of an eye, earth and rocks came crashing down, burying everything in their path. This wasn't just an accident. It was a stern warning about the destruction of nature that humans must bear. The Sepulveda fire is spreading at an alarming rate, creating a massive column of black smoke engulfing the area. The flames rise high, consuming everything in their path, threatening nearby residential areas. The firefighting teams are struggling to control the situation, but strong winds make it incredibly difficult to extinguish the blaze. Sky 5 captured the terrifying moment when two fire tornadoes violently erupted along the northern edge of the fire. The swirling columns of fire were like the wrath of nature itself, devouring everything in their path. The intense heat, combined with strong winds, caused the fire to spread uncontrollably. On January 17, 2025, a massive downpour hit Bandar Lampung, Sumatra, triggering a severe flash flood. The floodwaters surged, sweeping away many belongings and submerging streets in a sea of water. The people panicked, searching for shelter, while rescue teams raced against time to evacuate those trapped. Mother Nature spoke, reminding humanity of her devastating power.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kota Bandar Lampung khususnya not good.
In April 2022, in Elabel, Georgia, a terrifying tornado swept through, tearing off rooftops and causing casualties. Yet Cliff Horton stood right on his porch and witnessed it all. Stuck outside on a golf course as the storm approached, instead of seeking shelter, he calmly turned back to capture this horrifying moment. The winds howled, debris flew in all directions, but somehow he remained unharmed. A miracle or recklessness, a rare sight that sent chills down everyone's spine. An SUV lost control and plunged into a ravine when a section of the highway suddenly collapsed due to a fierce flash flood. The floodwaters rushed, sweeping away everything in its path, leaving behind a scene of devastation. This is a haunting reminder of the tremendous power of nature and the dangers of traveling in extreme weather conditions. A bomb cyclone is sweeping through Washington with winds reaching a terrifying 140 miles per hour. Trees are uprooted, rooftops torn apart, and thousands are left without power. Nature is enraged, and the consequences could be catastrophic. Lanín National Park, Neuquén, Argentina, is engulfed in flames. A fierce wildfire has erupted and spread uncontrollably due to strong winds, threatening the ecosystem and surrounding areas. The firefighters are battling the fire monster in the dark of night. A skyscraper suddenly collapsed due to a landslide, creating a haunting scene amid a densely populated residential area. The weak soil couldn't withstand the weight, causing the entire structure to lean and then collapse in an instant. This is a chilling warning about the dangers of building on unstable ground. A devastating 7.5 magnitude earthquake shook Taiwan. The powerful quake triggered severe landslides, burying many areas in a sea of dust and rubble. Buildings shook violently, roads cracked open, and people panicked, fleeing to find shelter. Nature once again reminded humanity of its destructive power. Devastating flash flood in Bunigol, Upper Chitral. The violent waters swept away a wooden bridge along with many vital infrastructures, cutting off transportation and putting residents in a perilous situation. The area has already been hit by several flash floods in the past week, making the situation even more severe. Nature has always been warning humanity, but are we listening? Climate change and deforestation are intensifying flash floods, making these tragedies more frequent. It's time for us to take action to protect the environment before it's too late. Unusual hailstorm in Merritt Island, Florida. The ice balls fell fiercely, covering the entire area in an instant. This rare sight left many people stunned. Extreme weather events are becoming more common, even in unexpected places. Could this be a warning sign from nature? We need to pay attention to these unusual changes and be better prepared for the future. Severe flooding due to Cyclone Dekeledi in Mayotte. Torrential rains turned the streets into rivers, submerging many areas and causing significant damage to infrastructure. Residents had to evacuate urgently as the waters rose quickly, sweeping away vehicles and disrupting daily life. Earth moves during the earthquake in Indonesia. A powerful earthquake shook the region, causing the ground to crack and shift, dragging buildings and trees with it. People panicked, fleeing as large chunks of earth suddenly sank or slid, creating a terrifying scene. The chaotic scene on the streets is a chilling reminder of nature's destructive power. As the ground trembled and news of a tsunami spread, people abandoned their cars and belongings to escape. These life or death moments decide everything. Those who move faster have a chance of survival. If you live in a coastal area, always pay attention to disaster warnings. When signs of a tsunami appear, don't hesitate, seek higher ground immediately. The sea, once calm, suddenly recedes, exposing a vast stretch of sand. Then, in the blink of an eye, a massive wall of water crashes onto the shore with terrifying speed. The waves sweep everything in their path, houses, vehicles, and even people. Screams, the deafening roar of water, and panic engulf the area. If you notice the water suddenly retreating, don't be curious or stop to film. Run immediately to higher ground. Every second could determine your survival. On January 20th, 2025, a powerful 6.0 magnitude earthquake struck Taiwan, causing widespread panic. Buildings shook violently, streets cracked, and vehicles were rattled. Residents hurriedly evacuated, while rescue teams were deployed urgently to search for those trapped. If you live in earthquake-prone areas, always equip yourself with the knowledge and skills to stay safe. A fierce avalanche swept down from the slopes of Mount Shege, Russia, with snow and ice descending at terrifying speed. Those present in the area panicked and fled to avoid the white snow torrent that swept everything in its path. Nature always hides incredible and dangerous moments. Don't miss out on these rare footage. Hit subscribe now to stay updated on the most spectacular natural disasters.